Arabia introduces new medical restrictions on Hajj visas, prohibiting individuals with serious life threatening illnesses from undertaking the pilgrimage. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. Dr. Mohammad Wahid Hassan, Special Envoy of the President and former President of the Maldives, calls for decisive global action and stronger international partnership to advance sustainability and climate resilience. Delivering the keynote address at the 2025 Sustainability Global Leaders Conference in Shanghai, China, Dr. Wahid represented President Dr. Mohamed Muiz at the event. He stressed that for the Maldives, sustainability is not merely a slogan but a matter of survival. Dr. Wahid emphasized that small does not mean powerless, reaffirming the Maldives' determination to lead by example through resilience, innovation, and equity. He outlined three key pillars for global cooperation: action, innovation, and sustainable growth, and urged nations to transform commitments into tangible results, ensuring that vulnerable countries are not left behind. In his speech, he also called for courageous leadership. Dr. Wahid concluded his address with a message of unity and optimism, reaffirming that the Maldives chooses hope, courage, and partnership to thrive and to help build a world founded on resilience, justice, and enduring hope. Dr. Abdullah Khalil, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, visits Egypt on an official visit at the invitation of Dr. Badr Ahmad Mohammed Abdullati, Egypt's Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Foreign Ministry in Mali confirmed the visit in a statement. During his visit, Minister Khalil will meet with Dr. Abdullati to review the long-standing ties of friendship and cooperation between the Maldives and Egypt. The statement said those relations grounded in mutual respect and a shared Islamic heritage are expected to frame discussions on strengthening bilateral engagement. The two ministers will also consider new areas of collaboration in education, health, and trade, as well as cultural exchange. Minister Khalil is also scheduled to meet senior Egyptian government officials to discuss ways of enhancing cooperation and expanding partnerships across priority sectors. According to the Foreign Ministry, the visit reflects the Maldives' commitment to deepening its relations with Egypt and to advancing shared interests at both the bilateral and multilateral levels. And now we bring you the call to prayer for Isha.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ಕೊಮ್ಮೆದುವಹಕು ಅಗ್ಗಡಿ ತಿರಿಹುಗ PSM ನ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್
Welcome back to our English news program. We continue with the local headlines. Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Mohammed Saeed, confirms the Maldives reported significant early revenue from its newly established offshore bunkering service, generating $12.46 million since its launch. The initiative, introduced under President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, is a central element of the government's strategy to diversify the economy beyond its reliance on tourism and fishing. Minister Saeed disclosed the figures in response to questions from members of parliament. The service began operations in September 2024 and reached the $12.46 million milestone within its first year. Preliminary figures show that $2.91 million was generated by the end of 2024, with monthly revenue rising steadily throughout the current year. Government officials noted that the service has operated continuously without interruption as it approaches its one-year anniversary. The operation has also contributed $1,125,830 in taxes to state coffers during the reporting period. Minister Saeed observed that the increase in revenue reflects growing demand and utilization of the service. Structured as an offshore operation, the service employs a specialized dedicated vessel and is managed domestically through the State Trading Organization or STO. A major factor in the service's early success has been the introduction and sale of low-sulfur fuel. The project was launched in partnership with Switzerland-based Vitol Group, a company recognized for its extensive international experience in bunkering services. At its inception, the government set an ambitious target to facilitate an annual increase of $400 million in gross domestic product or GDP through the service. Current efforts are directed at strengthening the initiative, expanding its scope, and raising revenue beyond present levels. The Maldives tourism sector sustains its robust growth trajectory, with figures indicating strong performance across key international source markets. According to the latest data released by the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, arrivals from India, the sixth largest contributor of visitors, are nearing the 100,000 mark for the year. As of the latest monitoring period, a total of 99,379 tourists have arrived from India this year. This milestone represents a 4.2% increase when compared to the 95,326 tourists recorded during the same period last year, reinforcing India's crucial role in the island nation's tourism economy. Overall sector health remains exceptionally strong. The Tourism Update Report indicates that total arrivals reached 1.7 million as of the 15th of October, reflecting a significant 9.9% increase over the equivalent period last year. China maintains its lead as the largest source market, providing 282,682 visitors. The top 5 markets currently include Russia, 211,263, Italy, 155,832, the United Kingdom 151,217, and Germany with 124,777, with India ranking 6th on the list. The government has set an ambitious target of attracting 2.3 million tourists by the end of the year. With the 1.7 million visitors already recorded and the peak winter season ahead, the globally renowned tourist destination requires around 500,000 more arrivals to meet the annual goal. The government officially launches the protection and development of the Farokolo Nature Park, a critical step marked by the recent appointment of rangers. The 2 new rangers were officially handed their uniforms during President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's recent visit to the inhabited islands of Shaviani Atoll, signaling the commencement of management for the environmentally unique island. Farokolo is geographically distinct from many Maldivian islands, characterized by extensive mangroves and wetlands surrounding the protected areas designated under the Environmental Protection and Conservation Act. The Ministry of Tourism and Environment confirmed that the special management project aligns with the high expectations of the residents of neighboring Funadu, Shaviani Atoll, aiming to integrate community benefit with environmental sustainability. The Maldives Tourism Development Corporation, or MTDC, has been contracted to develop the site, and a preliminary conceptual framework is already complete. Under this vision, the park will establish key ecotourism infrastructure, including
including picnic areas, canoeing routes, day rooms, and dedicated visitor centers. This development aims to foster sustainable nature-based tourism and facilitate easier access for both locals and international tourists to experience the island's unique natural environment. Management of the park falls under the overarching government initiative, the Conservation of Atoll Ecosystem through and effectively managed National Protected Area Estate or CATNATE project, which is funded by the Global Environment Facility or GEF and supported by the International Union for Conservation of Nature or IUCN. The ministry said that the design will prioritize the sustainable use of the island while rigorously protecting Farokolo's natural features. The CATNATE project also includes designing a sustainable finance mechanism for the region, including crucial startup grants, ensuring long-term financial benefits for the community. The ministry confirmed that while the concept model is in place, detailed design work will only proceed after consultations with Funadu residents. This engagement reflects the ministry's commitment to ensuring the nature park is managed in the most appropriate and equitable manner, allowing the local community to benefit fully from the island's development as a premier ecotourism destination.
Saudi Arabia introduces new medical restrictions on Hajj visas, prohibiting individuals with serious life-threatening illnesses from undertaking the pilgrimage. The policy conveyed on the 16th of October by the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah to the Maldives Hajj Mission requires prospective pilgrims to undergo extensive medical screening, altering preparations for Maldivian applicants.
The restrictions were confirmed by Mohammed Shakil, managing director of the Maldives Hajj Corporation, during an appearance on the PSM News program Raja Myodu, where he outlined the implications for this year's pilgrimage. According to Shakil, the Saudi authorities have specified that the measures apply to individuals suffering from severe cardiovascular diseases, chronic kidney diseases, neurological disorders, and major neurocognitive conditions such as dementia. He stressed that the presence of a medical condition does not automatically result in visa denial. Shakil added that minor health issues are unlikely to affect applications. To comply with new requirements, the Hajj Corporation has introduced mandatory advanced medical testing for all individuals selected to perform Hajj. Under the revised protocol, pilgrims must first undergo initial medical examinations, which will be reviewed by the corporation's medical teams. If additional clarification is needed, further tests will be required. The final decision on visa issuance will rest with the Saudi Hajj Ministry following its review of the complete medical reports. Shakil underscored that the measures determined by the Saudi government are intended to safeguard the health and safety of all pilgrims. He added that the Hajj Corporation is working on providing for contingency arrangements. Should a visa be denied on medical grounds, the affected individual will retain the right to transfer their pilgrimage opportunity to another person of their choosing. Saudi Arabia currently allocates a quota of 1,000 pilgrims to the Maldives. The government of President Dr. Mohammed Muiz is engaged in consultations with Saudi authorities in an effort to secure an increase in this allocation.
Insights into business, IKEA reports that its annual sales falls for a second consecutive year as the budget furniture retailer stuck to a strategy of cutting prices to attract cash-strapped consumers and gain market share in a fiercely competitive market.
Having hiked prices during the pandemic due to supply chain disruptions, the world's biggest furniture retailer has cut prices by 10% on average over the past 2 years, as high inflation and weak housing markets worldwide dented consumers' demand for furniture and homeware. Global IKEA retail sales in the 2025 financial year, which ended on August 31st, fell 1% or 0.3% adjusted for currency effects to $51.9 billion. The total number of products sold, however, was up 3%, with customer numbers and store visits also up.
That's why we see now in FY25, as the business year that we just closed, we see growth of 3%, both in volume, in customers, and in visitation. And that was the main ambition. And I think that's one of the reasons we could take that decision was the fact that we are not maybe on the stock exchange or, we can be very long term together with our franchisees and decide that it's mostly important right now to have better prices.
In the US, however, IKEA has raised prices on some products due to higher tariffs on imports, though Abrahamson Ring said IKEA is trying to absorb the extra cost. IKEA competes in the US with Wayfair and Walmart, but more of its furniture is made in factories in Europe, giving it a slight advantage over retailers relying on imports from China, which face a higher tariff rate.
An update on world affairs. The UN World Food Programme says it has brought about 560 tons of food per day on average into Gaza since the Israel-Hamas ceasefire took effect, but that still fell short of the scale of need in the enclave.
The WFP said it had not begun distributions in Gaza City, pointing to the continued closure of two border crossings, Zikim and Erez, with Israel in the north of the enclave where the humanitarian crisis is most acute.
We haven't started any distributions in Gaza City. Only the nutrition supplies that I mentioned and in small quantities. Still access to Gaza City and to the north of Gaza in general is extremely challenging.
Though small amounts of nutrition products have reached the north, relief convoys were still unable to move significant quantities of food there as well as other areas. 950 trucks passed into Gaza, including from the commercial sector, bilateral donations, and the UN coordinated system via the Kerem Shalom and Kisufim crossings, the UN Office for Humanitarian or OCHA said, citing figures from Kogat, the arm of the Israeli military that oversees aid flow into the Gaza Strip, presented to mediators. On Wednesday, about 716 trucks, including 16 carrying fuel and gas, entered. OCHA spokesperson Jen Larke said about a third of the trucks entering are through the UN mechanisms.
Looking at sports, the Football Association of Malaysia, or FAM, says it had suspended its Secretary General and will form an independent committee to investigate a technical error that led to FIFA suspending 7 naturalized players of the national team over the alleged use of doctored documents.
During a heated news conference, FAM and its legal team denied that it had committed forgery but declined to address repeated questions from reporters on how the players were naturalized pending its appeal against the ban. FAM Deputy President S. Sivasundram said the organization's Secretary General Nur Azman Rahman had been suspended effective immediately to allow for an independent probe. Serge Vittos, a lawyer representing FAM, said the organization has filed an appeal against FIFA's suspension, with a decision expected to be handed down on October 30th.
The objective of the appeal is to have all sections handled. It's to demonstrate that there was no forgery on the side of the player, there was no forgery on the side of the FAM as an institution, and if any wrongdoing was done, it should be targeted to the person in question.
The FIFA Disciplinary Committee last week said Malaysian authorities may have relied on forged documents to naturalize the mixed heritage players Gabriel Palmero, Facundo Garces, Rodrigo Holdago, Imanol Machuca, Joao Figueiredo, John Irazabal, and Hector Hevel. It also accused FAM of failing to conduct due diligence after FIFA was able to obtain birth certificates that had significant discrepancies with those submitted by FAM to show the players' Malaysian lineage.
A 300-year-old Stradivari violin valued around $16 million takes center stage at a concert in Brussels performed by Armenian violinist Sergei Khachatryan with the Belgian National Opera.
The violin, renowned for its extraordinary tonal range and historical importance, was built around 1724 by famed Italian craftsman Antonio Stradivari in his hometown Cremona, and was recently bought by a benefactor of the philanthropic Stretton Society, which provides loans of exceptional instruments.
Obviously, a huge joy, to be able to create that relationship between me as an artist and the instrument, who is in that case my voice of expression, and to have such an incredible instrument with such a beautiful sound and complexity.
At the Brussels Palais des Beaux-Arts on Friday, he will interpret the technically demanding Brahms Violin Concerto, stretching the limits of the instrument. The instrument is among the highest valued among several hundred remaining Stradivari violins, which can sell for millions of dollars and are known for their exquisite craftsmanship, with the most sought after from Stradivari's 1700 to 1720 golden period. Known as the Kaiswetter after 19th century German violinist Christoph Gottfried Kaiswetter, it has been played by several top violinists, including Augustin Hadlick and Maxim Vengerov, who used it at the Grammy Award ceremony in 1996. The organization, in addition to providing instrument loans, supports mentorship programs that connect established artists with emerging talent. In 2024, the organization received the European Cultural Award for its contribution to the arts.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ihel from PSM News.